What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the Texas Rangers report. In today's video, we got a lot to discuss about Joey Gallo. So we're a few days away from the trade deadline, and the Rangers have to consider whether to trade him or to extend him. So there has been a lot of discussions that extension talks are heating up with Joey Gallo, and that is super encouraging as a Texas Rangers fan to hear. And as we all know, his agent is Scott Boras, and Scott Boras is not known for having his players get contract extensions. He's known for having them test free agency, and that might be a reason to trade Joey Gallo. His value is the highest that it's ever been, and if the Rangers want to capitalize on that, that'd make sense, especially if they couldn't work out a trade. And let me see, we are 30 games below 500, so we're obviously sellers at this year's trade deadline. However, I do think that our farm system is in a good spot, meaning that in 2 years our major league club could turn a corner. But the discussion is, do you want Joey Gallo on that club when we start to turn a corner, or do you want to use him to have more prospects whenever the club starts to turn a corner in about 2 years? In my opinion, I think we should still stick with Joey Gallo, extend him, given if he is willing to get a contract extension. And in my opinion, that's all up to Scott Boras, because Joey Gallo said he wants to stay a Texas Ranger. And he said the money shouldn't be an issue, and that doesn't mean that the Rangers can just extend him for like $5 million a year. I would say something along the lines of $20 million, maybe 5 years. I don't know. That's just a rough estimate. But we have other pieces that we can trade to help the farm system. We have Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy, Spencer Patton. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like a Charlie Culberson, or maybe even DeLon DeShields, who's in AAA, if they get traded. And I've heard that the Rangers are also maybe buyers at this trade deadline. Doesn't mean we're going to get a Trevor Story or a Chris Bryant, but a guy like Nate Lowe, or a guy like, I'm trying to think of another time that we have bought a player. I can't really think of one, but it's a Nate Lowe type of deal. So if they're thinking about that, then that shows that they want to compete relatively soon. So if we were to keep Joey Gallo, extend him, we have Adolis Garcia in center field, Joey Gallo in right field. Left field is still questionable. You have Leody Taveras. He's been iffy in AAA. He's hit the ball okay, but he leads the team in strikeouts. And I mean, you can always sign somebody. We drafted Aaron Zavala. We haven't signed him. I'm sure we will. So he could be that left fielder. So let's say Aaron Zavala. We do have Bubba Thompson, Josh Stowers, Julio Pablo Martinez, Steele Walker. So we have some guys in the minors. Going down to the infield, Josh Young will be the third baseman. Shortstop is up in the air. We have IKF. Don't know if he's going to be the future at shortstop for us. We could always go and sign a guy like Trevor Story. He is up for debate, especially if the Rangers want to compete sooner rather than later. And he's a Texas kid. So we could go out and sign a Trevor Story. Second base is, I would say, one of the biggest holes, because we thought that was going to be Nick Solak's position to take, and he's been really bad this year. He had a really good month of May, I think it was, and then he's been one of the worst hitters in baseball this year. And now he's down in AAA, so I don't know. We have Andy Ibanez, Eli White, but Justin Foscue, he's been really good, so he could be that future second baseman for us on our competing ball club. First baseman, we have a lot: Nate Lowe, Curtis Terry, and I feel like there's another guy I can't really think of right now. But yeah, Nate Lowe and Curtis Terry, hopefully they can lead the way for us on our competing ball clubs. I also forgot about Willie Calhoun, DH, left fielder. In catcher, we have some people: Sam Huff, Jose Trevino, Jonah Heim. The two later ones are more defensive minded. Sam Huff is a power guy, and he can He's playing first base this year because of his knee. So I feel like the pieces are there. We definitely need some help on the pitching side, and we need some of the hitters some of them to break out, and some of them just to keep on playing like they've been playing. So I think that there is potential to win sooner rather than later. However, the teams that have been calling to talk about trade for Joey Gallo have really good farm systems. You have Toronto Blue Jays, New York Yankees, San Diego Padres. But I really don't think too many of those trades really make sense, because the Toronto Blue Jays, they already have a stacked lineup. You have in the outfield, you have George Springer, Lourdes Gurriel, Teoscar Hernandez, and Randall Grichuk. So where is their spot for Joey Gallo? And then I don't think he's going to be playing first base because they have Vladimir Guerrero, and he's not going to be playing third base because he hasn't played that position in forever. So even though they're interested in him, I just don't think it makes sense for the Toronto Blue Jays to trade for him unless they trade one of their outfielders. But I just don't think that trade happens. And for the Yankees, they've been one of the teams on the bubbles all year. They haven't looked great, and would Joey Gallo really be the difference maker? Maybe he is an impactful player, but would they be willing to give up one of their top prospects for Joey? And especially if he's not going to be the difference maker. And I'm not trying to disregard Joey, but it takes more than Joey Gallo. There's a whole lot of other things with the Yankees. And then the San Diego Padres just traded for Adam Frazier. Doesn't mean that they can't go out and trade for Joey Gallo, but if you think about it, Adam Frazier plays second base, so does Jake Cronenworth. So where are you going to put, how are you going to play them both? You're probably going to have to move one to the outfield. So let's just say you move Jake Cronenworth to the outfield. So Jake Cronenworth in left. Then you have Tommy Pham in right, and then you have Trent Grisham in center, and there already isn't a DH in that league. You could have him play first base, given that Eric Hosmer hasn't been great this year, and Will Myers has been an average hitter, so that's a possibility. But I don't think it makes too much sense unless they're willing to unload, like one of the reports said that they might be willing to do. But also, I just don't think it makes too much sense for Joey Gallo to be playing first base when he's too athletic and he has too great of an arm to be playing in the outfield rather than first base. So that's why I think a contract extension makes the most sense. It's going to be difficult with his agent and Scott Boras, but hopefully the Rangers can work something out, and then we can just use our other trade pieces like Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy, Spencer Patton, and maybe another sneaky guy like a Charlie Culberson or a Delino DeShields. And I'm not sure how much we're going to get in return for these guys, because Kyle Gibson has been doing terrible his last 3 starts after the All-Star break. So we will just see, especially because he's not a strikeout pitcher, doesn't have overpowering stuff, and his FIP shows that he is going to have worse games down the stretch, because his ERA is like a 2.98 and his FIP is a 3.5. So, and also this year has been one of his best years in his career. He's 33 years old, and he has one more year of control, which usually is a good thing. But teams might be wary because they just trade for Gibson and then they get the 2020 version of Gibson. So there's a lot of things to unpack in this video, especially with Joey Gallo. The 3 teams that have talked to the Rangers is Toronto Blue Jays, San Diego Padres, New York Yankees. I really don't think a trade makes too much sense. Yes, I've made videos on this channel about Padres trade or Yankees trade. I have to do those videos just so we can digest what a trade would look like, so we're not like blindsided or anything. So we have to see all of the sides of everything. But yeah, so trade deadline's coming up. A lot of news and rumors are going to be coming, but we just have to stick to what makes the most sense. I think it makes sense to keep Joey Gallo, extend him, and kind of like what the Braves did with Freeman, what the White Sox did with Jose Abreu, stick to your guns and let the young guys build in the system bring him up to the majors, and compete for a championship. Let me guys know what you think in the comment section down below. This will be an interesting trade deadline to say the least. Seems like Joey Gallo has been talked in trade deadlines for the past 4 years. But with that being said, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel because I'm your #1 source for all things Rangers on YouTube. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one.